I'm Danny Quinn, and welcome to the latest episode of First Impressions. On tonight's episode, I review the belated sequel to Prometheus, Alien Covenant, that tries to tie itself more to the Alien franchise, for better or for worse. The movie is set 10 years after the events of Prometheus and revolves around a new crew on board a ship called the Covenant, who are transporting 200 colonists to another planet. The ship then discovers a strange signal from an unknown planet, and its captain, played by Billy Crudup, insists upon investigating it. Upon their arrival, they discover that the planet is home to the synthetic android David, played by Michael Fassbender, who is the sole survivor of the failed Prometheus expedition. However, the planet is also home to some strange and horrific monsters, and they must escape the planet if they want to save the lives of the colonists on board the Covenant. Good look at my shelf should give you a pretty good indication I'm a huge fan of the Alien franchise, especially the first two movies directed by Ridley Scott and James Cameron, which are both sci-fi masterpieces. However, the franchise has been pretty spotty over the past 2.5 decades. Alien 3 was seen as a huge letdown at the time and was notoriously troubled with much studio interference from 20th Century Fox that eventually led to its then unknown director David Fincher disowning the final product. Although its reputation has grown over the years thanks in no small part to its assembly cut released on DVD and Blu-ray. Alien Resurrection followed a few years later in 1997 and was so bloody over the top and goofy that I honestly kind of enjoyed it. It's not a good movie by any means. The characters are more quirks than actual characters, the pacing is kind of off, and the director Jean-Pierre Jeunet really abuses style. And the film has so many misguided and silly ideas that it's honestly kind of hysterical at times. But the less said about the Alien vs Predator movies, the better. And then in 2012, Ridley Scott returned to the franchise with Prometheus, a prequel which was meant to explain one of the franchise's most enduring mysteries, that of the space jockey scene from the original film. However, despite the huge amount of hype that surrounded the movie around its release, it ultimately fell short of expectations for most people. It had a lot of interesting ideas, but was let down by its somewhat flawed script, choppy editing, and an indecisiveness over what it really wanted to be. That and people lamented the lack of xenomorphs in the movie, or so Ridley Scott seems to think. Personally, I do think the movie gets a little too much hate, but I can see where a lot of the haters of the movie are coming from with it, and the movie is far from perfect. But despite Prometheus' mixed response, it did do well at the box office, and Ridley Scott has decided that he's going to commit himself to the franchise full time from now on, it seems. I guess it makes sense, considering that James Cameron's probably going to be making Avatar movies for the rest of his life, and David Fincher probably doesn't even want to be associated with the franchise after the whole Alien 3 fiasco. Even though I was admittedly kind of mixed on the movie's trailers, they still look pretty creepy and atmospheric. But it also looked like they were trying to distance themselves from Prometheus. And that's also the impression I get from watching the film. This movie is much more of a straight-up horror film compared to Prometheus, and it's also a lot more connected to the Alien franchise, whereas Prometheus kind of tried to downplay that for the most part. However, that's also to the movie's detriment, I think. It feels very safe and familiar, and there's nothing overtly wrong with that, especially after taking a pretty big risk with Prometheus that kind of alienated some fans. It just kind of sucks for fans who actually kind of enjoyed Prometheus. But this movie as a whole just doesn't really do anything new. It's especially derivative of the original Alien. I mean, the plot point of a ship discovering a mysterious signal and landing on the planet to investigate it, that's borrowed from the original film. There's a lot of music cues that are borrowed from the original Aliens, from Jerry Goldsmith's score. The way they reveal the title is very similar. There's even some lines borrowed from the original Alien. And to top it all off, the famous facehugger scene is even recreated almost identically to the scene in the original film. And it's so predictable that any suspense and tension that they try to mine out of the sequence is all for nothing. If you thought that Prometheus borrowed too much from the original Alien, at least that movie tried to put a new spin on it, with new ideas even if they didn't entirely work. Another issue I have with the film is its characters. The characters just aren't that memorable or well developed. I think the main problem here is that there's way too many characters, and this is a problem I think that every Alien film since Aliens has suffered from. If you go back and watch the original Alien, you'll find that the movie actually has a very small cast. There's only 7 characters in the film, not counting the ship's computer mother. And that really works to the movie's benefit, because the small cast allows you to grow more attached to them, and none of them feel like they're just there to add to the movie's body count. They're all fleshed out and superbly acted, but every film since then, even Aliens to an extent, has this problem where there's a few characters that are obviously there just to get killed off. They don't get much development, they don't get much dialogue, or much time to make much of an impression. And Alien Covenant, unfortunately, is no exception. You're just never able to escape the feeling that some of these characters are obviously going to be dead meat. I mean, hell, some of the characters don't even get named or developed properly. It's also established that the Covenant is trying to protect these colonists, and some of them have already died before the movie has begun. And yet we never really feel much of an attachment to them because we never see them. We never really get to know these colonists. And I feel like nothing more than just a plot device just to keep the story going forward. And it doesn't help that some of the characters make really dumb decisions that actually put the colonists' lives in danger on several of occasions. In fact, the crew makes choices so stupid at times, they honestly make the crew of the Prometheus look like the crew of the Nostromo by comparison. As for the movie's main characters, they're okay, I guess. But again, I feel like that's mainly just because they're well acted, and if it weren't for the acting, I probably wouldn't have given as much of a crap about them as I should. Billy Crudup's arm is actually kind of interesting. He's basically become the captain of the ship, and no one really respects him or takes him seriously, and he doesn't really have much credibility, which is understandable because he does make some really dumb decisions that end up putting his crew at risk. And it's not like the movie completely shies away from that either. It actually is kind of aware that what he's doing is kind of a mistake. He's the one that insists upon investigating the signal, even though, unlike the original film, they have no obligation to do so. It's not like in the original Alien where, like a part of their contract insists that they have to check out signals if they come across them. And he's also a very religious man, which could have maybe served as an interesting continuation of the religious themes in Prometheus. But it doesn't really amount to much, unfortunately, and that was pretty disappointing. Likewise, Danny McBride's Tennessee is probably one of the few characters in this movie that's actually memorable. He's this very cowboy-esque character, but he's very smart and likeable, and Danny McBride does a really good job in the part, even if his casting is a pretty weird choice. Catherine Waterston, I think, is fine as Daniels, but she never really escapes the feeling of being a Ripley clone. At least in Prometheus, Noomi Rapace's Shaw actually did kind of escape Ripley's shadow. There was an interesting arc in that film about her faith, and yes, I am disappointed that Noomi Rapace isn't in this, at least not in a prominent role. Her character was easily one of the best things about Prometheus, and I don't know why Ridley Scott didn't bother to bring her back for this one, at least as a main character. As such, a lot of the potential opportunities that the ending of Prometheus offered are pretty much squandered as a result. Now I can understand why people were so pissed off at the opening of Alien 3. And I know my opinion on the movie does seem very negative, but overall I didn't think it was really a bad film in my opinion. This is a very flawed one. And to be fair, there are aspects of the movie I really quite enjoyed. But what I really like the setting of the movie, it's such a vast, haunting and unsettling place, and the creatures that inhabit it look really good. That and the death scenes in this movie are actually really disturbing. They're very violent and grotesque, and at times quite imaginative. Unfortunately, some of the death scenes in this movie are really predictable. You can literally see them coming from outer space. And the film just doesn't have the same degree of subtlety or suspense or tension as the original film, even despite the atmosphere and violence in it. But there is one aspect that I think almost entirely redeems the movie for me. And it's one aspect that I have been saving for last for a reason. Michael Fassbender. He returns to the role of David from Prometheus, a synthetic android who's very calm and polite, but also very chilling and eerie. He's very different from the likes of Ashton Bishop from the original Alien and Aliens. And like in Prometheus, he's easily one of the best things about the movie, not just the acting, but also the character as well. And the character actually does go through quite a bit of interesting development in the sequel. Unfortunately, I can't really go into detail about it because it is going into spoiler territory, but I will say it's actually quite interesting, and it does make up for most of the flaws of the rest of the film. Fassbender also plays the role of Walter, the android on board the Covenant, who's basically an upgraded version of David, but he's also very different from David in terms of his outlook on life and humanity. The scenes with Fassbender's David and Walter are absolutely fantastic and really do serve as one of the movie's main highlights. Overall, Alien Covenant is a mildly enjoyable but ultimately forgettable outing in the Alien franchise. It plays things very safe, which is really disappointing considering how ambitious Prometheus was, and it rehashes lines of dialogue and scenarios straight from the original film. And it also squanders a lot of the momentum and opportunities presented by Prometheus' ending. It doesn't help that the film's main characters are overall kind of flat, albeit slightly aided by good performances. Despite this, Michael Fassbender's dual performances as David and Walter really do redeem most of the movie for me, even though you could probably argue that they feel like they're out of a completely different film, and if it weren't for them, the film probably wouldn't work nearly as well otherwise. I'm going to give Alien Covenant a 6 out of 10. It's okay. It's very watchable. But I'm not really sure if I could recommend it. It really depends what you want from an Alien film. If you were disappointed by Prometheus, really just wanted a straight up Alien movie, you'll probably enjoy it. But if you really liked Prometheus and you liked the movie's ambitions and wanted to see a proper continuation of it, you're going to be disappointed by this, I think. In that regard, I could say I'd recommend it regardless. You might like it, you might not. At the end of the day, it's your opinion, and I just hope that if you do go see it, that you do enjoy it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to be back next week with quite a few reviews. I'm hoping to see that new Anne Hathaway movie, Colossal. I heard that looks really good. I'm also going to go see that new King Arthur movie, directed by Guy Ritchie, that no one asked for. And that Amy Schumer-Paul Feig collaboration, which looks like a movie. Oh, and I might have also included a possible hint in a future video. So, good luck trying to find it. Feel free to subscribe, like the video, leave a comment. If there's anything I could do to improve my presentation, I'm all ears. Once again, hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Danny Quinn. Have a pleasant evening.